And welcome back, everyone, to another RLT Pivot podcast. My name is Tracy, and once again, I am joined with my amazing co-host, Mr. Dan Jansen. How are you, sir?
I'm doing terrific. Good to be back on another episode. I've been waiting for this episode because we had the contest a few months back in regards to submitting your trading plan. We had Jeff Johannes win that competition, and part of the prize is he gets 30-minute coaching. So we want to kind of go over a little bit about the trading plan, a little bit about your background, you getting into trading. I know prior to us recording, you said I'm still kind of new-ish to trading, but I think that's perfect because a lot of the people listening to Pivot Podcasts are newer to trading or they've been trading but struggling a little bit. So we kind of want to dig down deep into pretty much where you're at with trading to be able to get you to that next level and just kind of overcome some fears, things like that. But Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm excited to be on here. Thanks for having me. When I got your Slack message or email saying I won, I was kind of surprised, to be honest. I've only been, I guess, attempting to trade or learning as much as I can for about 2.5 months now. A little bit about me. For 15 years, I had a large format graphics company. We did vehicle wraps, specialized in outdoor advertising, window graphics, that type of stuff. And recently, my partner bought me out. So I'm kind of at this unique stage in my life where, after doing that for 15 years, I'm kind of looking for what's next. And it was actually a family reunion over the summer. My cousin was always on his computer in the mornings and throughout the day, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing? I saw you had charts up, and trading's been something I've always been interested in." And he's like, "Well," I was like, "Are you day trading?" And he's like, "Well, I'm swing trading." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I started asking him questions, and he's actually the one that introduced me to real life trading. Coming full circle now, I heard about the podcast, so I started listening to you guys, which is awesome. And I've just been trying to absorb as much information as I can. You guys have so many great, resources and materials online, and now I'm part of the real life trading community. But yeah, I was stoked to find out I won and get some coaching with you guys to hopefully, get any input that you have for my trading plan and start actually implementing it. Because I have been struggling. I've been trying to back trade it, and I think, finding the setups has been a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. So I'm hoping this call, I'll have some more clarity at the end of it.
Yeah, 100%. And we're glad that you're with us, and like we're thrilled just as much to have you on and kind of go over with anybody really trading plans and things like that. It's what we do. But I know you said your cousin introduced you into trading. Anybody could be introduced to somebody, or somebody's like, "Oh yeah, day trade," and people blow it off like, "All right, cool, whatever." What is it specifically that you like in the markets? Like, what is it that's kind of drawing you in? Besides obviously that your cousin's doing it as well.
Yeah. Well, I think, even since college, for a long time, I've just always been interested in the stock market. Obviously, I know there's the possibility to be able to make a living or make a lot of money. You hear about stories of people making a lot of money, and also the flip side is you can lose a lot of money. So it's just something I think I've always had an interest in, but I've never really understood. And even I didn't know how to read a candlestick chart 2 months ago, and so like just watching that video and being like, "Oh, that's how you read those. That's what that means." It has been good. But I guess for me personally, it's the freedom I think that can come with day trading, and that I'm in a position to where I have the time and resources to put the effort into trying to learn this and learn a new skill, and that's what I want to do to hopefully get to a point where it's like I don't have to go start another business or get a W-2 job with somebody. I can just do this.
Gotcha. Yep.
That's perfect. And you're primarily a swing trader, correct?
I guess you could say that. I've been trying to I've been looking at the daily chart, so I'd say, that's for swing trading, but I've been starting to kind of go down to the 1 hour and the 30-minute charts as well. And I'd like to get into the day trading. I just felt swing trading was a good way to start because it was a little slower.
Yep.
It's perfect. And I think that you should stay day or swing trading until you get really good at it. Because if you can't swing trade, you can't day trade. It's just fractal, right?
Okay.
So it's a good starting point for sure. Now going over your trading plan, first of all, let's talk a little bit about your why, because you're talking about the freedom of trading. You're talking about what that can bring to you. I know you mentioned some things in here about getting to choose who you work with, and allowing yourself to be able to schedule your own time. Now, I'm going to be frank with you and offer you some constructive criticism, but please don't take offense to what I'm about to say. Okay?
Say it.
So, for a why, having a good, strong why, having a why where you can create your own schedule and, getting some financial freedom, that's appealing. But do you feel that it's a strong enough why to keep you following your rules, keep you getting up every single day? Or is it one of those things that once you start to get a feel for freedom and creating your own schedule that you may become slack in getting up regularly or being diligent in actually pursuing the trading? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. And that's a great question. I don't know if that is a strong enough why, just the freedom side. Because I've actually, with my business, I've had a lot of freedom and I've been able to make my own schedule for a long time. I think probably what's a stronger why for me is the ability to choose who I work with. Because in my past, that wasn't always the case, whether it was working with clients we didn't necessarily want to work with, or vendors, or even our employees. And we had great employees, but there was times, I would be pulling my hair out just because some of the decision making that they would do, and I wouldn't understand it. So I think a big part of my why is the ability to choose who I surround myself with, or who I surround myself, and who I work with, and I guess not have to put myself in that situation.
Gotcha. I totally get it. I'd like to see you add a few more little things that are going to keep you getting up in the morning and doing what you do on a consistent basis, whether it be a more specific goal or just something that's you're going to know yourself the best.
Yeah.
So what's going to get you up and consistent with your trading plan? What's going to make you do what you need to do on a regular basis and follow your rules so that you can be successful? Are you planning on using trading as your primary income?
Yes, I'd like to.
Okay. So then that's even more important. If you're going to make it as your primary income, you need to have something that is strong enough that's going to get you up in the morning when you don't feel like getting up in the morning. It's going to get you to continue to learn and strive and keep pushing through, even when the markets are tearing down and running you over like a freight train and making you feel like, oh, I'm terrible at this.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that need to be in place that are going to be strong enough drivers to get through some of the emotional roller coaster that you might feel.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say that most people that we ask the question as to why do you want to trade, like what is your why, most people in some sort of way say money, freedom, ability to kind of do what you want, right?
Yeah.
Which, what does that really mean? Like what does freedom actually mean to you? Like, what would you do with your time if you had it? Most people don't know.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
What would you do if you made all the money in the world? What would you do? What would you actually do with the money? Right? The reason as to why the money is just a tool for you to be able to do what you want to do. Right? So be very specific in that, because I mean, I could make money being an ice cream man, right? I could get a W-2 job. I could do whatever, but yeah, I'll make money. But the question is, why do you want the money? Like, what are you actually going to do with the money? And having that vision, having that idea is going to help drive you, like Tracy said, to actually get up in the morning. And there's a fine line between people actually trading for business in the market and people just gambling, right? Just waking up and they go, man, I want to make $10,000 today, and then they'll just push it all into a rando position and blow up the account within 3 months, right? So you want to kind of avoid that. If your goal is just to make money, you're going to probably lean to I'm going to gamble because you don't have a purpose for that money, right? If you have a purpose for it, you're going to be a little bit more strategic as to how you play. You're going to actually wait for the better setup, the better trade, and then that's going to help drive your overall trading plan.
Yeah, and I think that would help. I guess with the discipline too of showing up and kind of making a schedule for myself, because I've already realized that I've been trying to do that, but I haven't been disciplined enough to where it's like, okay, I'm going to be here at this time. I'm going to put this amount of time in, every morning or every day, and doing that. I've kind of let myself slide multiple times on that. So I think you're right on point that I need to add a stronger why to my why.
For sure. It's the foundation of your trading plan. It really is. Everything else is going to be built around that why. Okay? So if your why is to build financial freedom, but it's also to create more freedom of time or more time so you can spend with family or do certain things or travel or whatever, then your trading plan is going to be designed around that freedom. You're not going to be day trading, for instance, because that's going to tie you to the computer. It's going to be contrary to your why. And therefore, you're going to be at constant battle. Your trading plan and your why will be butting heads against each other, and it's going to cause constant friction, and you'll constantly be breaking your rules, and you won't be disciplined because it doesn't match. That's why you really need to get that why sorted out. Get a good foundation, and then you can build your trading plan around that why.
All right.
Okay.
I like that.
Perfect. Awesome. Now, the next part that you have in your trading plan is called trading plan, and you've got success rule, failure rule, losing rule, portfolio, and risk unit.
Yes.
First of all, I love that. Okay. I love that. I think that's great. You've really defined what you see as success as a trader. So if you follow your trading plan, if you recognize your setup and you take it, whatever it might be, that to you says success. And I love seeing that versus seeing something that if I'm successful if I win a trade. Okay. I love the fact that you've put that in instead of your P&L. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Dan, did you have anything that you wanted to comment about this particular area in this trading plan?
Yeah. So the one thing I would say is the first rule says success rule. I am successful anytime I recognize a setup that I've previously back traded and act on it. Which I think Tracy's right and you're right as far as being able to list that in there. What is that setup that you're? Two-part question, I guess. What is the setup that you're currently looking for? And then how much have you back traded it?
So this is what I kind of wanted to ask you guys. The two setups I guess I'm looking for are the hammer candle, and then the double bottoms. And part of the pre-trade setup was if the stock is above the 10 EMA, the 20 EMA, 50, the 100 SMA, and the 200 SMA, then take the trade. Well, in back trading, I've been looking for these, and it's like I'll find a double bottom or I'll find a hammer candle, but then it won't meet those qualifications. It won't be above those trades. So that
won't be above all the moving averages, you mean?
Above all the moving averages. So that's been something that's been really hard, is I haven't been able to find that. And it's like I'm going through these stocks and I'm like, okay, here's a potential setup, but then it's not meeting that criteria.
Right. The criteria that you have in place right now is extremely bullish.
Yeah. It is.
So you want price to be above every single moving average right now. And that's extremely bullish, which means right now, as we're pulling back, you're not going to find a lot of those available. So there's a couple ways that you can approach this. At this point, you either wait until the markets turn around and they become bullish, and you just have to be patient, sit it through. And in the meantime, back trade bullish markets to see how your setup works. So you might have to go back to 2020, the beginning of 2020, when COVID turned around and all of a sudden we had this big bullish run and took off. So you can back trade it during that time. Or you can remove some of those parameters and look for double bottoms and hammers, just strictly double bottoms and hammers, and start back trading those and find a different support and resistance level identification. So maybe it's a horizontal support because you were taking support off your weekly and monthly levels. You can still do that. So instead of the moving averages being a criteria, maybe it just has to be at one of the support levels in a weekly or a monthly.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. I and that was kind of my question was if I'm able to, I guess kind of edit that a little bit or just like exactly what you were saying, do something like that. So I can actually, I guess, start taking those trades.
Okay. So you brought something up that I really like. First of all, adding to a trading plan. So one of the criteria that I ask my students to have is called a commitment.
Okay.
And it's usually at the beginning of your trading plan. It is a specific date and it's usually 1 to 3 months. That's what I suggest.
Okay.
1 to 3 months of commitment to your trading plan. So what that means is once you implement a trading plan into real money, the 1 month or the 3 months. So let's say that you do it as of June 1st. So June 1st, you're going to implement this trading plan. You've back traded it. You're ready to put it into practice. And the commitment will be 3 months of time from June 1st. So July, August, September 1st. That is the earliest that you can change your trading plan. You have to commit to it for that period of time.
Okay.
And what I do is I would take notes of things that I'm noticing in the market, things that I want to practice, things that I want to change. I just write those notes aside and I'll be back trading those and practicing them and working on those, but I don't implement them into my real trading plan until I've established that they work and until I meet that deadline.
Okay.
Okay. So why do I have a commitment? Do you have any idea why I might do that? I'll take a guess.
I guess I would say so. If you start trading your trading plan and then within a week or 2 weeks, it's not doing what you thought it was going to do. You didn't give it enough time. So then you start making changes and you're kind of like starting over again.
Exactly. That's exactly why I put that commitment in. Now, the expectation is that prior to even implementing the trading plan, you've back traded it for 3 months at least and, over 100 trades. So it works. You have confidence in it. Now you're ready to put it into practice or into real money. Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, by the way, it's huge that you've already identified that in the current market, your setup, because the setup is solid. It's a hammer, double bottom, buying off support. But because you've been back trading it and you've been looking at it, you've already identified like, hey, it's not working right now.
Yeah.
The amount of people that would just be like, no, this is my setup. I got to take it every single time. The setup itself could be great. But in a different market conditions, the setup might not be as strong, right? And then, again, you don't probably want to just start changing rules and things like that, but have that set up. So as soon as we start entering bullish markets, you're still able to do it. The thing on the short side, as we're in a bearish market, typically you want to take like reversal hammers and double tops. So it's the same plan, it's just kind of flipped.
Okay.
And you're just buying it at some kind of resistance. But again, back trade that before you do anything. But it's the same setup, just reversed.
Exactly. So that's the point, is that from here, you're going to want, if you want to be trading in conditions that aren't bullish.
Yes.
So a sideways market or a down market, you need to come up with some new criteria with new settings and then back trade that. Okay. And then you'll have a couple different types of setups that you're going to have based on market conditions that you'll have in your back pocket that you can utilize.
Okay. So, and that was, I guess, that was one of my questions was like, I've been going back to the start of this year and I was like, this isn't working. And I'm like, so I'm not taking any trades because I'm back trading it. And I'm seeing that like it's not setting up and there's no trades to take based on my trading plan. So the fact that you guys are saying, flip, basically reverse it and do it the opposite way. So for a bearish market, that's good to know, because my next question was, I've been wanting to do, swing trading or working off the daily charts, but I also would like to make this hopefully my full-time income. And I feel like the timeline to do that, I don't know if that's possible, I guess, doing it off of the daily charts and swing trading, just because I haven't been able to find that many trades or almost any trades to take recently. So I'm like, if you're not taking any trades, you're not going to be making any money, not losing any money, which is good. But I guess I wasn't sure how I could make this a full-time income if I'm taking that limited number of trades.
Yeah. So it's again, I mean, the fact that you're not forcing anything, especially this early in your career of trading, is phenomenal. The one biggest killer is somebody's going to force a trade that's not there.
Yeah.
Right. Just because they want to be like, hey, I want to make money. And I think you nailed it on the head when you said, I'm also not losing money. Right.
Yeah.
So that's, if you blow up your account today or tomorrow, when the market goes bullish next week or a month from now, you don't have any dry powder to actually take your setups that you've been trying to take. Right.
Yeah.
So, I would look at the reverse position back trade, the bearish side of things, but I do think it's phenomenal that you're still you're very patient as far as you're waiting for your setup, which is huge because once the plan is fully developed, we have a short side when the market's bearish, we have a play when the market's bullish. You'll have a lot more opportunities. As far as you want to take more trades in order to do this for a living, honestly, that comes down to the size of your R for the most part, right? If you're absolutely patient on trades and you're just waiting for your setup, you don't have to trade that much. The bigger your R is, you wait for that setup. It could happen 3-4 times a year. Who knows? But if it's that setup that you look for and you have the right size R, then you could absolutely make enough money to cover your bills, right? So it's not, I need to take 1 million trades in order to cover it. It's just about growing that R size to the right spot. But that's going to happen slowly. It's going to happen over time. Unless you're just coming in with $1 billion in the market, and then I need a loan realistically. But
nope.
But basically, it comes down to the size of the R of how much money you actually need to pay bills to make a living to cover what you might have been making before. Don't get too caught up on that now. I would say look more for those setups. Wait for it, and if you don't see in the market your setup coming in that works when you're back trading, that's okay. That's where I would start to look for, is there something else I could add to the plan? Is there something else I could back trade? How do I have my plan work in a bearish and bullish market?
Okay. And then, so as a new trader, I got another question for you guys. Say I stick to this trading plan and I'm only taking a few trades, potentially per week or every couple weeks. What do you guys think about implementing a second strategy? I was one specifically is Matt DeLong's Momo strategy, and that was more on the daily charts. I guess I feel like that, having this strategy, but then giving me something else to look for if I'm going through my list of stocks and there's no trade that day. And then it's I do that every morning and then there's no trade that day. Something to I guess continue to learn and practice, because I am so new at this.
So my answer is going to be, I'm actually going to touch on two things. First of all, in your rules, rule number 2, you say I can only enter a trade after I have back traded the setup at least 10 times.
Yes.
10 times is nowhere near enough to get a decent amount of history or confidence in that setup. So I'd like to see at least 100.
100 times.
Added to that. Yeah, 100 times. Okay. Look for that at least 100 times, and preferably over a longer duration. My preference is 3 months at least.
Okay.
So 100 trades over 3 months. That's optimal. As far as looking for any other setups or adding another setup, I think having tools, all these setups are tools, in your trading arsenal is always good. The caveat will always be as long as you've back traded it first.
Okay. So
that's plain and simple.
So I guess maybe, and back trading is new to me as well, but I guess, if you're saying in the last 3 months, and we're on the daily chart, what do you mean back traded 100 times? Because there's not even 100 opportunities, and even since the beginning of the year.
No, you're right, but there might be in multiple stocks.
Okay.
So go through. Are you trading just one stock, or are you trading multiple stocks?
I have a list of 10. There's like, I have Cisco
Okay, so
on
in
there,
10 stocks,
Johnson and Johnson, some tech stocks. I mean, Tesla, kind of, a lot of the stocks that we talk about in the daily rooms or the swing trade room on Real Life Trading.
so there's a couple things that you can do. You can drop down into an hourly chart if you like.
Okay.
If you want to try more setups.
Okay.
Because the idea is to practice the setup and practice the management. And again, it's fractal. So really, whatever happens on a daily chart, on an hourly chart, you should be able to manage it the same type of way.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is you have 10 stocks, so you should be back trading all of them to see how it works consistently on all of them. And really, that comes down to finding 10 trades on each stock. Right?
Okay. And how far are you okay with going back in time? I mean, you go back 2 years, 3 years, 1 year?
Yeah. Go back. Yeah, whatever. So if you can go back, the further you can go back, the better.
Okay.
Right? And just like back trade the last couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Right.
we've seen in the market, because again, you're talking about bullish setups, probably the last 3 months, I would say. I mean, there was a couple bullish moments, things like that, but for the last 3 months, we were probably leaning a little bit more bearish, right? So if you want to try your plan out, try it in those 3 months, see how many you find. If you're only getting 20 trades and some of them work, some of them don't, then go back into the 2020 zone,
Okay.
right? And then back trade 3 months of maybe the same time frame, but back in 2020, 2021, something like that, and just see kind of how they would work in that type of market, because that, no question about it, that was a bullish market that we were in, right? So you might find more trades there than you will here, but you could go back as far as you'd like to find those trades. The important thing is that you want to see, and I think it's important for both markets, but see how those trades work. Again, like Tracy said, what your stop management is, when you move your stops, how comfortable are you looking for volume? Find those things that you are looking for, and then apply it into those time frames, because this way listen, if we're in a bearish market, my setup only works 35% of the time. But if we're in a bullish market, it works 65% of the time. Those are some key numbers to know, because as the market, or as soon as we see down red days, you might not want to be trading your certain trading plan on a certain down day.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's been a kind of a hurdle for me, is just figuring out, how far to go back, and then I guess calculating all those or recording all those wins, and knowing. I think that comes into the confidence. I haven't had the confidence yet to do it with real money, and that's why I haven't done it.
Right. And you will have the confidence after you've done 100 trades. Yeah. You'll have the confidence in your trading plan. You'll either know that it works or it doesn't.
Okay.
And not only that, but you're going to be conditioning that muscle, the visual muscle, for you, first of all, to even recognize the trading pattern that you're looking for. And secondly, you're going to recognize the management style that you need. You're going to be faster at it. You're going to be more confident at it. You're going to know what you need to do. So all of those things come with back trading. It is a vital key component. Practicing anything that you're learning how to do before you put into practice. I mean, anything that you do. You didn't just all of a sudden start wrapping cars in plastic and saying, hey, I'm a graphic artist. You had some practice. You knew what you were doing before you did it, right? And even if it was on your own car.
Lots and lots of practice.
Exactly. That's right. So just like trading, you don't want to just jump in feet first and start trading with real money unless you've practiced what you're doing, because you will get whipsawed around the market and you'll just be giving your money away. Okay?
Yep. And you could also, especially in the beginning of your first couple trades or getting started with real money, you don't have to, whatever your R is, or you play it on the R being, you could start off smaller. You could start with legitimately a $25 R if you wanted to.
Yeah,
right?
I actually have that
just to get comfortable with.
I have that in my trading plan, what my R is and when I can increase it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love that too. I thought that was a great component in your trading plan. Your trading plan is solid. It's good. We've given you some feedback right now on things that you could do to tighten it up a little bit more and also practice. Unfortunately, we are out of time. So at this point, we're going to have to say goodbye to you. It has been a pleasure having you on the show. Dan?
Yep. Congrats once again, Jeff, on winning. It is truly a pleasure to have you on. Everybody listening to the Real Life Trading Pivot Podcast. Thank you guys for joining us each and every week, and we'll play.